Trading futures is more so about entries than anything else. You want to have really keen entries. You want to have entries that make sense in the market structure. And it's something that you'll learn over time from doing with time and repetition in the market. Like for instance, my entry today let me go back to the e-signal here. My entry today was based on a couple different factors. We talked about this yesterday in Clubhouse on the wrap call. We talked about this area right here where I actually took a trade and I was initially wrong to it and I jumped back in right here on the bottom of that wick there. Jumped into it long, took it above that, and ended up getting stopped out on that pullback, but made a really, really nice profit on that trade. And it took me from being, down $800 to back up $800 in one account. So that was a nice trade. I ended up losing some on that pull down because it was just a little bit too early, but made the money back that I lost right there. So that area right here, we talked about this in Clubhouse in the wrap call, talking about how those bottoming wicks were a huge tell on the 15-minute here. And so when I see that zone, definitely it becomes an area of interest. I want to have that area being watched, especially for the overnight Globex session, because if we are encroaching into that area, I want to see if the sentiment has changed. If the sentiment has changed in that area from buyers to sellers, this now becomes a big zone of supply, overhead supply up here. Now, that's not the case. We came back into this area and it retained the same qualities and characteristics that we saw during regular trading hours. Every time we came up into that area, we found willingful buyers that were hungry to take the price there. They kept on buying it and pushing it back above our level here of 53.25. So that level of 53.25 and 29.25, that was my area of interest for Globex. Woke up this morning, I saw that we hadn't encroached below 29.25. This was the only candle right here that encroached below it. And again, same story here. We found willingful buyers, right? This was the gap between regular trading hours close, the New York close, Globex open. That's that gap that you see right here. And the gap was created because of Apple's earning. Even though they beat on the top and bottom line, their forward-looking guidance was a little bit weak, and then China was of concern. iPhone sales were up, and I believe hardware was up, and those were both surprises. But the market didn't like it. It perked up initially to around 182 and then sold off into below 170. So that is what created that gap in between New York close and the Globex open. And so that was interesting to see that 15-minute candle print. If you know how bar candles work, this is the bottom of the bar, this is the top of the bar because it's a green candle. So we didn't even encroach lower than this lowest wick here on this prior area. So that was, all of these things were of interest. That was what I was looking for. That's what I was watching. And so what I'm looking for when I wake up this morning is to see whether or not we're encroaching into this same zone. We were, but we're finding buyers. This right here was my tell right here. That was my tell because we created an inefficiency here to the top side. You can see there is a gap right here between the top of that wick and the bottom of that wick. So we created a gap, and that's where I took this long on that encroachment of 53.25. Thankfully, we had a very favorable print. So that's why I was long into that move, the bust out over 53.25. And my stop was just below this area here, because if we come back down, the print could have been a good print, but we could have swept liquidity to the downside. Obviously, during Globex, they collected enough liquidity here in this area right here. So that area right there was where they collected enough liquidity to the buy side to make this move to the top side here. So that was enough liquidity for them to collect to take this move higher. So it was really just watching this area from regular trading hours yesterday and then comparing it to how it fared during the Globex session here. Now we're into this, pushing into this overhead supply here. We have two overhead supply zones here. We pushed into it, and now we're rejecting off of it. So we have these levels now to watch here, 22 and 993.25. Those are the levels we're gonna be watching here off the open. What I'd really like to see is a push back down into one of these order blocks, and then we solidify up, and then we're back to the races and squeezing to the top side, because you have to imagine there's going to be a lot of players that are going to be looking to take this market short here. A lot of folks are going to be looking to short this market because they're going to go with the whole story of it's up too much, we got to short this thing. And so if you're looking at this from just an order flow perspective, that's a good area for anybody who collected some buy side liquidity down here. That's a good time for them to be selling up here, right? And so natural for them to take off a piece of their position. If I was holding, let's say 15 lots into that trade, we would have made what, 5x more. So we would be up about, let's just say $25,000. Peeling off 10 lots into that, holding 5 for a runner, I think that's a fair play. And then potentially if I'm holding 5 for a runner, my stop's still down here. If we encroach into that order block, adding back in 10 lots there seems like a pretty favorable play. Now that's just me, but imagine a fund doing this on a larger scale. They're doing this with thousands of lots. So they're getting rid of some of their position here, and then maybe their stops are below here. And if we come into these order blocks and we find strength, they're going to pick that up, get more buy side liquidity from there, and take that back up to the top side. Now, keep in mind in that same scenario, there are stops lower here. There are stops below this area, right? There are stops much lower than this area that could create a downside move. So knowing that there are going to be a lot of stops below this area, we could have had, you know, there's not a tremendous amount of volume up here. It doesn't look like a lot of people were unloading like crazy, but still a decent amount of volume. It looks like, you know, let's just look at Bookmap here. I'd say about 4,000 contracts up above 37 or so, maybe 5,000 contracts. So if we were to go back down into this zone here, back into the 53.25, you have to ask yourself the question, and this is what you should be constantly asking yourself as you're trading. Where is the liquidity located? Because a market can't move without liquidity. A market does not move unless there's liquidity. This move doesn't happen to the top side unless we have liquidity. That liquidity was collected in the overnight session in that zone. That's why we push up to the top side on that favorable job spread. Now, again, going back to our story here, if we come back down below these zones and there is not liquidity looking to buy here, and instead we have, you know, let's just say at 9:45 we get a very negative PMI print, which would have to be very negative to reverse what we had out of the NFP print. If we had that, you know, we could have a lot of stops being targeted below that zone, below 29.25. So that's what I'm going to be watching today here off the open. We will be trading here into the open and see if we get any nice setups. So we have the PMI and then we have the ISM 15 minutes after that. All right, we got about 3 minutes here till the market opens. Are we all ready to go here? Make sure you're calm, cool, collected. Make sure you're relaxed for the opening here. Let's see if we get any beautiful opportunities here. I want to be keeping an eye out on Apple specifically, that 175.81. If we are blasting through that area there. And for some good luck before we kick off, make sure you have hit that thumbs up button. It is very good luck. I've heard that you will have a green day if you hit that thumbs up button. It's just what I've heard. It's a rumor that's going around right now on YouTube. You get a green day guaranteed if you hit that thumbs up button. I'm probably gonna be patient off this open unless it just open rips here. I mean, we could see an open rip on this thing. We are still holding that 52 level though. I'm gonna try another long here. We are holding that 52 level. I'm looking for this breakout and this squeeze from this breakout here. Looking to squeeze above 60 here. See if we can get above this level without running out of steam here. We are perking up. That's what I want to see. Holding a little bit. I'm actually going to add into that right there. I'm now targeting 80 to the top side. Adding into that again. Going 5 lots here. Nice pull to the top side. I'm taking out 3 right there. And I'm going to move my stop actually a little bit tighter than I should. Just above break even there. There's that run up I'm looking for. Let's see if we can hold this strong without getting stopped out here. Stop is pretty tight. We did tap 80 and 3/4. That was our level there to the top side. All right, stopped out there. So that's putting us back on the green on that trade, on that account there. So that's putting us up $4,700 on the day so far. We did tag our level of 80, but we did run our stop pretty tight there. We're just trying to play this momentum. Apple is waking up here, so waiting for a pullback now. I'd love to see a pullback into the low 60s if we can get there, but it does look pretty strong so far. We have the PMI out in 2.5 minutes here. I want to see a pullback right around to 62. That's where I'd go heavy into adding into this. But if we do break above 80, then I'm going to be confidently long in this thing as well. So approach to 80, adding into that there. This is where we'll get squeezy above 80 and 3/4. Adding into that as well, looking for this breakout to continue. Big amount of liquidity here to the top side. Order book is now clearing out, so we have to put our caution flag out here. Taking out 3 right here. Add another 3. I'm gonna run 2 into this print. Get my stop up here, just above break even. Let these 2 work. Print is due out in 30 seconds here, folks. 30 seconds till the print. We could get this to dunk low rate on this print here, so having my stop just above break even. Could get stopped out and then this thing could run, but let's see if we can get enough room between the print and our stop here. 50.7 on the print. Very favorable print here. Nice push up. Beautiful, beautiful push here. I'm taking off 1 into the ask. I'm gonna move my stop up on the remainder here. Beautiful push. Anybody else catch this? Beautiful, beautiful squeeze. Nice work there, Rockmoney. Is that 11,000 bucks? Nice work. Up $11,000 trading the MES. Love to see it. Gorgeous trading. So we're letting this final lot work. The target now is gonna be up at 120 here on this trade. Nice work there, Apex. Beautifully done. We are now pushing at that 175.81 level in Apple, so things are gonna get squeezy here. Very, very squeezy. I'm gonna jump into a different account here and see if we can catch this pop up to 120. So watching here as we are holding these hundreds. I still have that other trade going that's in the other screen there, but switching over to a different account. Looking for this push up to 120 now. We are pushing up against that 175.81 level on Apple. Taking out 3 here. Taking out 1, There's our push to 120. Beautiful. All right, back to this original account there. Up 710 on a runner still. We are up confidently over that 120 push now. I'm gonna move my stop here to the bottom of these bars. We are squeezing like crazy here. This is beautiful. Nice work there, dude. He passed his account. Way to go. Stop's going to 110 here. Nice job, dude. Congratulations. So now looking for this squeeze up to 140. This thing is just off to the races. This is squeezing like crazy here. See if we can catch another little piece here on this approach to 140. Going back to our other account here, watching this. I think if we get that pullback all the way down to 110, should see some hesitation here at 120. 120 is a big key level that we have here. We are through that first supply zone. If we're watching on the E-signal here, we are through that supply zone. So I want to see if the 120s now will hold. If not, we will get stopped out here. Tom R is up 645 bucks. Nice job there, Tom. I'm just seeing if I can catch any alpha on one of these other accounts. I'll just keep it on this one for now. Up another 500, up 1137. Nice work there, Kodak. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you are subscribed. The more support we have for the channel, the more that we'll do these streams here into the open. If you guys are enjoying this type of thing, I hope that you are. I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you're enjoying. Like button, hit it now. He's not lying. He's not lying. Some great advice. All right, there we go. Stopped out. So, drum roll, please. What does that put us at on the day here? Any guesses? 6,400 bucks here on the day. All streamed live for you guys. You guys, look at that. Big G-Ski got it. Ricky got it. You guys are amazing. So that was fun. That was a great, great opening session to trade with you guys. So.